On tonight's program, ladies and gentlemen, we have something that's going to make you sick.
Hello, my beautiful alien. Yes, that is what I call listeners of the Authentically Blue podcast. If you're new here, I am your host, Carlson, and you have caught a rerun episode. It could either be an interview that I did, or it could be a solo episode. For the solo episodes, I tend to have authentic rambles where I just ramble on what's in my mind with no script whatsoever. Or it could be a structured episode, either entertainment, my favorite TV shows, books, products, or it could be structured episodes in terms of a topic like boundaries. Anywho, I hope you enjoy this rerun episode and you can catch me on socials or Patreon for more content. See you soon for season 4. Bye guys. I mean, you get to taste life twice, in the moment and in retrospect, and that's kind of fire if you ask me. Hello my beautiful humans, and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here to the Authentically Blue podcast. I am your host Carlson, and in today's episode I am talking all about journaling. The time is 11:15 p.m, Sunday the 9th of April 2023, and the moon is looking beautiful right now. I am in my mom's car recording this episode that has been requested by one of you guys. So, thank you for tuning in. Alright, let's dive in, shall we? What is journaling? Journaling is the act of writing down your thoughts and feelings to understand them more clearly. And this could be about certain events that have happened in your life or even experiences you've had. It's also a really great tool to help you improve and exercise your mental health. Journaling allows you to do so many things. It allows you to express and unpack your thoughts. It gets you to process what you're feeling. It allows you to learn more about yourself in the process, because we as humans feel so many things and we are not our thoughts. I came across, was it a reel or a TikTok a few days ago where I saw someone saying, you are not your thoughts, and thoughts come and go. I think it was TikTok. Yeah, the person was talking about how we are not our thoughts, and thoughts come and go. So that's an important reminder if you needed to hear it. I personally, when I heard it, I felt this relief go through me, even though I knew this. Sometimes feelings can get a little bit overwhelming, and it's nice to know that. Plus, you can also reflect and be your best self while journaling, because you get to realize what patterns you have as a person, how you react when you're angry, how when you're feeling low, when you're feeling jealous, when you're feeling emotional, when you're feeling sad, happy. You get to process how you feel and learn more stuff about yourself, which is really cool. Stigmas. There are so many stigmas around journaling, and it's important to know that there is no shame. It's important to know that there is no shame in journaling. And yes, I know it's not for everybody, but if you are holding back due to a negative experience or feeling a way about it, sitting in your room, picking out a book and journaling, there's so many different ways to do that, and I'm going to touch on all of that in a second. Another stigma that's really huge that I personally have experienced is this pressure to journal at a specific time, like every single morning or every single afternoon or evening, and stick to that specific time. Yes, I know I've talked about routine and doing things consistently at a certain time, but there's certain stuff like journaling where there are no rules in this. There's no rules in this stuff. I was gonna curse. There's no rules in here. If you want to journal one day and not journal the next day, do that. If you want to journal every morning, journal every morning. If you want to journal when you feel like journaling, do that. I have gone through each of those things I just mentioned. In the moment, what I do is I journal at the end of the day or in the moment when I want to remember something or unpack how I'm feeling about something, but don't necessarily have the time to, and don't want to forget because my memory is kind of shitty, and that helps me out. So there is no pressure. Do it when it feels right to you. You can journal every day, you can journal once a week, you can journal every couple of weeks, every couple of months. don't feel pressure to do it. The whole process is to help you be a better version of you. Another thing about pressure is don't have too much pressure on having the perfect book or the perfect stationery. There was a time on YouTube, I believe like 2016, even 2010s onwards, I would say, there was this thing about bullet journaling and all these different fun types, and have these biros and pens and Sharpies and draw stuff, and you have to be good at art. Leave all that pressure alone. There's so many different ways of journaling, which I'll touch on in a second, but if you want to do the OG pen and paper, grab a pen and paper and just brain dump how you're feeling, or write down how you're feeling and what's going on in your life. If you just want to do like Dear Diary, the normal way, there's so many ways to journal and just write down how your day was and what's happening. You can do that too. So don't feel pressure with the timing or the equipment you need for journaling. Plus, this is another fun one I have, is you can switch up your environment when journaling. I know people tend to there's this stigma of journaling in bed, which is also a fun way to do it because you're in your intimate, private space. But you could also journal in a park, which I love doing, or in a coffee shop, or on the sofa in the sitting room in your house, or while watching TV. I can't journal while watching TV personally, but if you can do that, do that. There's so many ways to journal and so many different places you can journal, which is amazing. So don't limit yourself or feel like you can't do certain things. Be creative with this. You're trying to be the best version of you. I'm gonna have to stop saying that, but you get what I mean. This is also an important one. Some people, when they're journaling, I have had a bad experience where somebody has read my journal and I'm like, what are you doing? So when I used to journal physically, I currently journal digitally, but when I used to journal physically, I would omit certain things and not write down everything of how I'm feeling or what's going on, or give people code names. Me and one of my friends came up with this coded language, so I would write in that language so people wouldn't understand what I am talking about, which is kind of cool. But you could do that, or you can not tell anybody where your journal is or what your journal is, and get personal. Be hella messy. Be meshy as fuck. It's yours to unpack your thoughts, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I am low-key, it's not even low-key anymore because I know, but I'm working on this. I used to be a perfectionist, and even when creating this podcast, it took me so long at some points because I was like, I need this to be perfect. I'm not really like that at the moment, but I don't mean to make this about me, but what I'm trying to say is, when I used to journal, sometimes I would have to make it perfect. But it doesn't have to be perfect. The whole point is for it to be, unpack your thoughts. And our thoughts are messy. Hella messy. So my point is, there's a stigma to be perfect and you don't have to be perfect. Got it? Alright. Lastly, it's for you and your eyes only. So be honest. And like I said before, don't tell people where your journal is. Okay. Methods of journaling. There is digital and physical. Let us begin with digital, shall we? There's two main ways I have noted down for this episode with digital journaling, but I'm sure there's more. If you're interested, please feel free to go do your research. There's voice memos, which is a method I really prefer, and I did this for a while. So on all our phones, we have a voice memo app or a voice recording app. I would open this app and just write down. I always like adding the date. As you can tell, when I'm recording the episodes, I always say the day and date and time, just for future reference, so I know where I was and what was happening, to give me a full picture. Because sometimes when you remember a certain date, you know exactly what went on that day. And I say where I am, give all those details, and then I talk about what I want to talk about. Another method, as I was talking about, was the voice memos. I give the details of where I am, and then I talk about what I want to say. So if it's an emotion I'm feeling and I want to unpack, or something I want to remember later, I just took it into my phone, and that's perfect. So many benefits with this. It's quick, it's efficient. You know your voice, so you can portray emotion as to how you want it. If you want to feel sad, if you want to be sad, be angry, be happy, you can give it nicknames and just shortcuts because you know yourself and you understand it. So that's a fun and quick way to do it. Another way is apps. There's so many apps out there, but I'm going to talk about one that I have used. This is not a sponsorship, by the way, but if they want to sponsor me, feel free. The app is called Day One, and I used this app for a year and a half, I believe. It is, I don't know if it's an Android. I believe it's on Android too. I currently have an Android phone, so I have to watch out for my Android human beings. Sorry, got distracted on my phone. I have to watch out for my Android human beings. There's a mosquito in this car and it's killing me. It's actually killing me. Okay. This app has so many different templates. You have your empty page or a blank page that you can write whatever you want. You can add pictures. You also have prompts. So you have morning prompts and evening prompts. They're called templates. And in these templates, you have specific prompts that ask you, how are you feeling today? What 3 things do you want to get done today? Or how many things do you want to get done today? How would you like your day to be? It sets your mindset and gets you going for the day, which is perfect. And I love it. It also has evening prompts and it has weekly, monthly. So you don't have to write it down and it's automatically there for you, which is perfect. That's the Day One app. So if you're interested in journaling digitally, you can do that. Another method, which I should have mentioned in the beginning, is your Notes app. I love the Notes app. I just whip out and write down how I'm feeling, what I'm feeling. I do 2 things every day, which I've talked about. I do my gratitude every single day, and I also do... So for the gratitude, just for those who don't know, I write down each day of the month. So currently we're on Sunday the 9th. So today I would do from the 10th of April, I would write down 10th up to 17th, which is going to be Sunday next week, I believe. 7 days. I write down 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 with dashes. And then tomorrow, let's say I'm going to see my grandmother when she comes back from traveling, which is something I am going to do. I'm going to be like, oh, I saw my grandmother. I'm so grateful to get to be with her. Or the next day, if my aunt decides to surprise me and buy me sushi, we are manifesting here. I'm going to write that in my journal. My aunt surprised me with sushi. This was amazing. Or the next day, or like today, for instance, my mama, who's an amazing human being, bought me apple Minute Maid. I was craving that shit 2 weeks ago and I bought it for myself, and then she bought it for me today when she went shopping, and I was like, this is for me? I was like, I have way too much Minute Maid. I need to figure this out. And she goes, it's become expensive. I was like, I know. But you know, she decided to go out of her way and buy me something that will make me happy. She also surprised me with red velvet cupcakes, which I love. It doesn't have icing, which would have been nice, but I usually get this whenever I go to a specific place in Nairobi called the Capital Center, and I go to either Java or something to like get my work done. Mostly the podcasting work, because I love editing in cafes, people watching and editing. It's a whole jam. I am really rambling. I need to get back to the point of the episode, but my point is, today I'm going to write down in my journal, I'm grateful that my mom bought me Minute Maid, apple, and my mom bought me red velvet. I'm also going to write down, I'm grateful Liverpool drew with Arsenal. I'm also going to write down, what was I grateful for today? I haven't even thought about this. Today I had motivation to get my life back together. I did my laundry, I went for a walk, and I felt it. And tomorrow I am inspired to wake up in the morning and get my fitness routine going. You get the point. You write down what you're grateful for each day. And if it's difficult, you just think of like the basics. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful to have a family. I'm grateful to have a roof over my head. I'm grateful that I can see properly. I have legs that function. I have water I can drink. There's so many of these things that we take for granted on a day-to-day basis that really people out there are dying and would really love to have. So gratitude just humbles us and puts things into perspective, which I absolutely love. So I do my daily gratitudes every day, and secondly, I journal. So the same thing with the gratitude journaling, which it is a form of journaling I'll touch on in a moment. What I do is I do the same thing. I don't write it in advance like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I just write down. I use Notion to journal. It's not the safest option, but it's the most efficient for me. I'm not writing down like too much information. I'm just writing down things I love to remember or things I want to unpack, and then I just delete it later onwards or figure it out. I don't have an issue with that. What I do is I make a toggle for each day. So today is the 9th. I wrote down, I actually have journal. Okay, but I'm offline. Oh, okay. I remember one thing I wrote down today. I was listening to a podcast, and in this podcast, they talked about how doing things at your own time is the best way to do it. Like, I know we all know comparison is the thief of key, and it's easy to compare yourself to other people who feel like you're behind or the timing and stuff. And sometimes when I was listening to this podcast, the person was talking about like college and how someone asked, would it be weird like if I took a gap year, should I take a gap year and stuff like that? And the person said they wish they took a gap year because you're going to be fine either way. Whether you take a gap year or you don't take a gap year. But if you do take a gap year and taking time and space to be secure in yourself, that is amazing. And I liked what that person said. So I wrote down in my journal something to do with that and how I was feeling about that because I liked it. And I also do my journals. I don't do best thing about the day, worst thing about the day, just brain dump. So some days I write down this and this and this and this and this was horrible. Other days I write down, I love this about this day, or need to work on this. It just varies. I don't have a specific way I do it. Back to the episode. I don't even know how I got into gratitude journaling. Let me see. Oh, I was going to talk about Notes app. So the Notes app is another good digital way to journal. And the Notion app is also another one, but I don't know about security. I just use it because it's effective. I love the structure. And I don't really write down too many personal things. And I can have it across all my, what is it called? All my devices. My laptop, both my phones, even though the other one is ruined. And potentially soon my iPad. I want to get an iPad so bad. Okay, back to the episode. So that's digital journaling. Physical journaling, on the other hand, you can do the writing, which I'll touch on in a moment, pen and paper, or you can speak to someone. You can confide to someone in your life, and hopefully if you're lucky, end up blessed with people who are honest with you and tell you upfront for your own good whether you are in the right or in the wrong. And if you're in the wrong, they get to correct you, because I have 2 or 3 people like that in my life, and I am so grateful for them. Because I don't like when people just tell you or are scared to be honest with you. And I have had experiences. Look at me talk about my personal stuff again. I have had experiences where some people don't tell me the truth because they're not sure how I would react. That pisses me off even more. Or it angers me because I'm like, seriously? How long have we known each other? It depends on how long I've known the person and they've known me. But I'm just like, seriously? Or if someone doesn't tell you the truth because they don't know, they don't want to let you down or disappoint you. I don't like that shit. I just rather tell people, I'm like, hey, this is the truth, deal with it. Obviously, be kind with your words and be gentle, but let them know. There's no point in hiding and doing all that stuff. Anyways, hopefully you have people like that in your life who are honest with you for your own good and who are coming from a place of love. We love that. So speaking to someone is a great way to journal physically. Another way to journal is the OG, as I said, writing their thoughts down on paper. And there's so many ways you can do this. Let us dive in. So, physical journaling. What ways can you do? So you can do plan your day. I think this is the most common form of journaling where people write down to-do lists. what they need to get done with for that day. So either writing down your goals, writing down what you're letting go of, what you're grateful for, which is what I do, what you're ambitious for that day, and seeing how you're feeling. If you're stressed, if you're anxious about something, setting the goals in a way that's not overwhelming for you. Another method of journaling is brain dumping. I think this is one of my favorites. At any time of the day, you write down how you feel on paper. Like, it's to give you a visual. Sorry in advance, because I'm a very visual person. This is your warning. It's like word vomiting. So you word vomit your thoughts with no filter and in no specific way. Allows you to clear your head and continue on with your day or night feeling less overwhelmed. If it's a night and you can't fall asleep, brain dump. You can do this on your phone too. It doesn't have to be on pen and paper, but I feel like the best way is pen and paper. Just giving my 2 cents. You can do what you prefer. You can also do it in the morning or do it in the afternoon, whatever time of the day it is, and you just think, fuck, I have so many things on my mind right now. I feel so overwhelmed. I don't know what's happening. Just brain dump. Write down exactly how you're feeling. Crumple up the piece of paper and throw it away. If you want to keep it, keep it. If you want to throw it away, throw it away. It's like you're physically getting it out of your space. That makes a huge difference, and one of my favorite ways of journaling. Another way of journaling, which I personally love doing, is dream journaling. And this one, you write down your dreams exactly how you remember them. First thing in the morning so you don't forget, hopefully. I dream journal not on paper but on my phone. I have a place where I just write down dreams and thoughts and write down exactly how or what my dreams have been. My dreams tend to be very realistic, which can be creepy when I have nightmares, but we love to see them. So for dream journaling, you start by writing down whatever you remember from your dream. The more you journal, the better your memory will get. And when you become aware of your dreams, you understand how a good dream or nightmare can subconsciously impact your day. It helps with new ideas or solutions. Writing about your dream as soon as you wake up, because dreams are more. And if you like, you can do drawings, illustrations, and images that help you dream journal. It's a fun thing to do if you're artsy or like doodling. And you can look back at your journal entries and see. What are the recurring themes. Are there any patterns? And you can unpack how you're feeling. It helps you explore your subconscious and boosts your creativity. There's so many benefits to this, and I absolutely love this way of journaling. I need to actually go back and look at my dream journals just to see what I've been dreaming about. Alrighty, the next one I have is an unsent letter. And I wrote this before Sabrina Carpenter. We all know I am a huge Sabrina Carpenter fan if you're a regular listener, but she has an album called Emails I Can't Send. I have a whole segment after one of her songs. The segment is called Nonsense. I sang a portion of that song and I love it. So unsent letter is similar to what Sabrina Carpenter did, where you write, okay, she low-key even admitted to sending it because she published and released those songs to the world. But the idea is, in an unsent letter, you're writing for catharsis, and you will never ever send this letter to whoever it's intended to. And this person, you are writing how you feel or what you want to tell someone as it was left unsaid. For example, a loved one who passed away, an ex, or even someone in your real life who you don't really want to have a confrontation with, or don't feel like you fully unpacked what you wanted to say. But you gotta say what you gotta say. An unsent letter written to people currently in your life can help you clarify your emotions, which is what I just said, and make it easier to express yourself to that person in real life. If you do decide you want to have this conversation with them, you can do it because you've unpacked how you feel. Some people also like seeing how other people react in their head and just allow them to see the worst case scenario, just to be fully prepared. For an incredible boost of confidence, try writing a letter to your future self and your current self. I've done this to your future self, but I haven't read back. I should do that because that would be funny. Alright, I just talked about worst case scenarios, but that is another type of journaling. So worst case scenarios. I first came across this type of journaling, but it was more in person with two characters on This Is Us, and it's very therapeutic. I love it. A friend of mine actually who watched This Is Us with me. If you're listening, shout out to you. You need to finish This Is Us, by the way, if you haven't. I finished it and I bawled my eyes out. Anyway, journaling about the worst case scenario helps you come to grips with your fears and realize that many anxieties are irrational. You're writing about the worst thing that could possibly happen, how likely that scenario actually is, and how you'd react and handle that worst case scenario will reassure you that things aren't as bad as you imagine. You can also look back on previous entries and compare your worst fears to what actually happened, how often your fears actually come true. As you keep writing, you'll understand the consequences aren't as bad as you imagine, even if some of your worst imaginings do come true. Worst case scenario journaling also helps you identify sabotaging thought patterns like catastrophic thinking, ruminating about irrational worst case outcomes, or overgeneralization like stuff like things never work out for me. Writing about your strengths and coping strategies for your worst fears empowers you to face them. Ask yourself, what are you worried about? Then write down those fears. Follow that up with a question. If this happens, then what? Keep asking yourself these questions until your anxiety is allay. Alright, I read that because I don't think I could have explained it as good as it was explained, so I just read it directly for you. But that is an amazing way of journaling. I really love it. Okay, now we're moving on to gratitude journaling. I'm going to read this too because I feel like I wrote it down perfectly. So bear with me. From fighting depression to improving relationships and boosting your self-confidence, there are numerous benefits to writing down everything you're thankful for. This is one of the most powerful journaling techniques with life-changing possibilities that's proven in studies to make you a happier and more productive person. It also lowers your stress and calms you at night. A gratitude journal reminds us to stop always striving for more and just appreciate the present. But don't rush through it. Write in detail about what you're thankful for and let yourself feel those emotions and experience the sensation. Diving deep into a few things you're grateful for is more beneficial than listing off all the blessings you think you can think of. Write in depth about the people, past and present, that you're grateful to have in your life. Don't make your gratitude journal another thing to tick off your to-do list. Savor the experience. Take your time. Studies suggest that writing a gratitude journal once or twice a week makes a bigger impact than hurried everyday journaling. Alright, I am done reading now. That is a very good way to summarize it. It added points that I personally didn't even think of, but I am a huge advocate for gratitude journaling, and I think in my experience it's really humbled me. There are days where I'm like, fuck, I don't even know what to write here. I don't want to write certain things, and I'm just in a funk or in a mood or feeling blue, and I just don't feel like being grateful. And I just think, okay, I'm grateful at least that I get to have clean water today. And the minimum things I write, it just really puts stuff into perspective, which I love. I have 3 more methods of journaling and then we are done. So we have reflection journaling. A reflection journal can be a safe place to look back on your day. It can help you process complex events and analyze why things happened a certain way. You can look back on previous entries and see how you've grown, or write about your relationships and how communication can be improved. This journaling technique lets you track your goals or any healthy habits you're trying to establish. Being honest with yourself can lead to powerful insights that move you towards change. To reflect back on events, describe the event in detail, then reflect and interpret what? In detail, then reflect and interpret. Interpret as in like unpack. Figure out what the meaning is. Sorry, I can't say this word. What happened? Conclude with any learning experience that can be applied in the future. Lists are a great way for quicker reflection. You can list the best and worst things that happened or what you'll improve tomorrow. That's a nice one. I'm going to leave some prompts on reflection journaling down below. Then we have one line journaling. I did not know what this is called, but I've heard of this method before. And this is writing a single line a day about your day helps you preserve your memory. It could be anything. It can be key moments or mundane moments or what seems ordinary now that will soon be a memory you'll reminisce about. This method isn't overwhelming, so it's likely you'll be more consistent with it, which I love. Alright, but not least, the final method I have here is bullet journaling. A bullet journal includes brainstorming, to-do lists, reminders, schedules, all in one convenient place. It's a relatively new journaling technique premiered in 2013 that took off in millions of Instagram flatlies. These are facts, there are no lies here. It's brilliant for students to keep notes and stay organized. For work, it helps you track multiple streams of tasks, whether that's upcoming meetings and daily tasks or quarterly goals. Any blank notebook will do to start, and then you can jazz it up as much as you want or be as simple as you like. Those are the different types of journaling I have for you guys. Lastly, I'm just going to talk about 3 benefits, which I've kind of touched on throughout this episode, but these are the 3 I really wanted to say. With journaling, it allows you to let go of certain thoughts and emotions and lets you get on with your day. It gets it out of your system and you go on with the day with a clear mind. There's so many people, who feel an emotion and find it hard to get on with their day or use that emotion against other people or start acting certain ways that affect different people in their lives. And you're like, bruv, just get yourself together. Figure out what you need to figure out. If you're feeling jealous, sad, low, happy, envious, angry, what other emotion is there? Nostalgic, all those different emotions. Figure out what you're feeling. If you can't figure out where it began, just note it somewhere and then keep it moving. Get going with your day. I am a huge believer. I've always been like this since I was a kid. I hate it when people have an emotion and then they can't keep it to themselves and have to affect other people, especially if it's a negative one. When I am feeling blue, and trust me, I was a moody kid. And as a teenager, I had my moments more than the average. I mean, people who took my parents and my loved ones really went through it. I would just be by myself and exclude myself. Figure it out. Journaling is a good way to unpack that. If you don't have the time, just write down how you're feeling in the moment and then unpack later onwards instead of affecting other people. Another benefit I have is journaling relieves stress. And it allows us to view things from a different perspective. It helps you see the bigger picture. We never know what someone's going through. Even if you can't judge someone unless you walk in their shoes. That's a common saying. But you really never know what someone's going through. I may have stress because of a boyfriend or whoever. I may have stress because of a partner, a parent, a relative, a friend, somebody or anything. It could be academic, it could be work, it could be this podcast, it could be who knows. Stress can come from anywhere and you never know what things affect people different ways. It could be a loved one, it could be it could be grief. It could be anything. It could be health issues. So many things that can affect someone. Okay, I need to stop listing things, but that's a huge one that popped in my head. But journaling, you get to the bigger picture and see, I behave this way because of this way. And you get to see what connects and what doesn't. Then occupies less space in your mind, which is the end goal. Lastly, my last benefit is it gives you time to prioritize your emotions and make sure you do this in no judgment. I don't know if I mentioned this at all throughout this whole episode, but do not judge yourself for what you're feeling. You are not your thoughts. Like I said earlier onwards, feel what you gotta feel, do what you gotta do. Do not suppress them because they're gonna bubble over, but feel your thoughts as painful as they are and be honest with yourself. That's all I'm asking for. And lastly, you get to taste life twice. Why the heck would you want that? In the moment and after you journal in retrospect. 5 years from now, when I look back to my journal, I'll think, oh my goodness, I was in love with this person, I was doing this, I used to do this is the kind of show I used to watch. It just, you get to know different versions of yourself and know who you are, and it's amazing. But I am done with this episode, so thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're having a beautiful day or week wherever you are. Please leave a review, rate the podcast. It takes less than 2 seconds. Share this with your loved one. I'm going to be doing review of the week on the podcast, potentially starting next week. So leave a review and tell me how you find the podcast. Leave me a DM if you want to leave me a DM. And don't forget, post this on your stories. Thank you and goodbye.